Peace, love, and light, everyone. I hope all is well. This is your girl, Serena Wills, and welcome. Welcome back to another segment of poetry, publishing, and literary artistry. So, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Serena Wills. I am a poet, a spoken word artist, a self published author, and a publishing coach. And today I am excited. So everybody's like, oh, she's got somebody else on the screen with her. Yes. So this is my first interview here on the Indie Soup Media Network. And for those who have been following me since season one, you know that I talk about the different steps it takes to become published, what it's like to write poetry or poetry forms, and having a team, a great team with you alongside of you. And the one thing I always talk about and how important it is editing. Okay. And I always get lots of questions in the chat about editing. So I say, you know what? Let's bring my editor on. Okay. Let's bring Dawn here and we're going to answer some questions and bring an editor, into the space. So I wanted to welcome Dawn Adams, who I love. I have known Dawn. We just talked about it for 18 years.
18 years. Yes.
18 years,
Yes.
okay. I knew you before I even thought I was having kids. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, because
Right.
and she has edited actually, come to think about because we were talking about the last book, my fiction
hmm
book that has not come to fruition yet. So that's a book as well. So it's actually
Yeah.
5 books for me.
hmm
Even though 4 are published, there's that one that it'll come, it's coming,
Yes, it is
2026 is
coming.
coming,
Yes.
and more to come. So welcome, Dawn, and let us know a little bit
Thank you.
about who
Thank
you
you.
are,
Mhm.
and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Serena. You know that I love you,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
We are family forever and always. Um, so I am, she said, Dawn Adams. I am a published author, a poet, and a freelance editor. I love the written word. I love the spoken word, although I don't do what Serena does. Every now and then I'll get up at an open mic. But she is my inspiration when it comes
Oh,
to spoken word.
thank you.
I am an editor. I love helping authors bring their babies to life and helping them create the best possible product that they can
Mm,
have because it does represent them. It's their voice, and you want it to shine in all
yes,
ways.
yes, thank you so much. And you, I'm telling you, you do help us shine. I forgot which season it was, and I tell people when you open up, when you get it back, when I first got the very first book back edited, it took me 2 days before I opened. And you were like, "Did you get the email, Serena? I sent your book back."
Right.
And I was like, "I did." I was just so scared to like, okay, it's like round one, okay,
Yep.
and I did the thing that you shouldn't do. I opened it and I went through almost every page.
Right.
And then I was like, oh my God, look at all of this red or, track
Yep.
changes. And I just tell people I've learned one page at a time.
One
But
page at
that
a time.
first
Yep.
email with your book baby back, it's like,
Yeah.
okay. And then it's also, now it's your turn, tag you're it. So it
Yep.
was that too. Like once
Exactly.
I open it, I gotta get into it. So
Yeah.
we are going
Have it
to,
just to your point when you say you look at it with all
mhm.
the markups, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
it really is the experience is like I've birthed the most amazing child, and now
Yes.
somebody has looked at my child and told me it's the ugliest thing ever created, right? And there's some feelings. We feel some kind of way when
Yeah.
that happens.
Oh, yeah.
So
I've told people, it's funny, I can now tell people don't take it personal.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I tell, because you do, it's like, oh my gosh. And that's why some people don't want to get professional editing. They're like, oh, I
yes,
can edit it myself. They want to keep it
yeah. Keep it.
in-house, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to talk about that
Yeah.
in a little bit. So, can you talk to us about, because there have been some questions I've been getting, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to tell the audience about the difference, like how do editors charge, for example,
Okay.
and then what to expect when they go with an editor, on your, because you're an independent editor, you don't work for a
Yes.
company,
Right.
a publishing company. So the whole thing of do I really need editing? because I'm a
Hmm.
great writer. I get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then how do editors typically charge
Right.
for their
Okay.
work?
All right. So we'll start with that. I'm a great writer. We'll start with that one first.
Okay.
Because I believe I'm a great writer.
Yeah.
You are a great writer,
Yeah.
but we both need editors. So
Yeah.
this writer has an editor. This editor has an editor,
There we
right?
go.
I need an editor. So yes, you need an editor, and it can't be cousin Lolo. It can't be Uncle Sydney. It has to be someone who is skilled at writing, but also a reader.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
And I've had clients who have had family members do the editing first, and
mm.
they get their feelings hurt, of course, but also it impacts that relationship. So it's
Mm.
always best to have an editor that is objective.
Okay.
Now, Serena and I are family, right?
Yeah.
But we understand the relationship,
Yeah.
right? This is business. And
Mm-hmm.
so there is an objectivity there. She knows that when I edit, I'm sharing a truth with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not personal, as she said. So you want to be careful about who you choose as an editor, but you do want an editor. You want someone who you can trust, who's someone who's upfront
Mm-hmm.
about what they're doing and how they're going to do it, and of course, how they're going to bill you.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. And that billing question is building up and then billing, right? So we want to build up.
Yes.
And I have had the questions of where I've told people I've met you, but I've met other editors. I've met
Hmm.
other really great editors,
Hmm.
and they all say we charge per page, and
Yeah.
the rates vary.
Very. Yes.
They
Yeah.
vary. I tell folks I've learned some, you could go from the lower end all the way up to like 16, 17 per page. And you
Yes.
look at that editor's accolades and oh,
Hmm.
New York Times best-selling this and this, that, the
Right.
third, and they can
Yes.
charge that,
That. Yes, they
but
can.
I've mainly heard per page, but now there's
Mhm.
some folks out there saying they charge per hour.
Hour. So there are a couple, not just a couple, few different ways an editor might charge. So there are editors out there who charge by the word. So it might
Mm.
be a penny per word, 5 cents per word.
Wow.
You'll see those a lot out on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
What I kind of call, this is my term. I have nothing to validate it, but I've termed it kind of editing meals, right? You
Okay.
send your stuff, they charge you by the word count. You can also, I found as an editor, one that's not a productive way for me to
Mm.
edit. Um, there is also per page, as you mentioned. We'll come back to per page because I want to cover the other one. So there is per project
Mm.
editing costs, so billing.
Okay.
So it might be a small project. So for me, I edit across different genres. I do a lot of nonfiction, memoirs, but I also do children's books.
Mm.
Children's books tend to be, of course, picture books. They're going to be very small.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to charge per page like
Got you.
that. So I have a standard rate based on the book size, the word count. So I have
Mm.
a per project
Okay.
cost for that. You can do per hour. It's not that common, but some do. If an editor is charging per hour, you want to know how many pages or how many words are they editing per hour,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it can add up. Uh, I typically charge per page, but I calculate it by hour, but that's on the back end,
Okay.
right? Because
Okay.
I do have a minimum amount that I
Mm.
need to make per hour based
Got
on
you.
the time that it takes me to do the work, if that
Got
makes
you.
sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But I'm not
Hmm.
going to hand you a per hour cost.
Got you.
So,
Yeah.
right. So I look at the project, the number of pages, the word count, and then the baseline that's going to help me figure out what the cost is going to be is what type of editing is it? Am I just
Hmm.
doing a straight copy edit, or am I doing a substantive edit, or developmental editing.
Got you.
So
Mm,
a copy edit is really, I'm just going in and making sure it's grammatically correct. You know, your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, that type of thing. Good sentence structure, that. Substantive edit, I'm going a little bit deeper. I'm going to look at your characters,
mm,
or whatever your main focus is, to make sure that everything is aligned throughout, whether it's copy edit or through to developmental. I'm checking facts, especially if it's nonfiction. I'm
mm-hmm,
going to make sure your facts and your dates and things are accurate. Developmental means I'm going deep. I'm looking at
mm,
your story structure. I'm
mm-hmm,
looking at your character continuity,
mm.
everything. And
Yeah.
of course, as you can imagine, that's going to cost a little bit more,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it depends on a couple of factors, right? The project itself,
Mm-hmm.
and what you're actually asking for. And I will
Wow.
say, just to clarify for people, proofreading is not editing.
Mm,
So you need an editor to edit,
yes.
and then before you go to print, you need to proof. It needs to be proofed.
Got you. Yeah.
So, because
Yeah.
there are things that can happen in the editing process
Mm-hmm.
that can set things a little bit askew. So,
Yep. And thank you so much for that. And I tell people when I'm teaching classes, my self-publishing classes, I said after the final round of edits,
mhm,
because it's a back and forth dance.
yes.
So it's like you get it, of course, you're the editor, but then I get it. Oh, well,
Hmm.
I got to work on this. For example, I have poetry books, but I do have the fiction book that I
Hmm.
did, and that is more character development. And I
Yes.
remember you telling me you need to show versus
Yes.
telling because
Yes.
they want to visualize the
Yes.
character, where they're at, what they're doing, and then
Hmm.
it's like, oh, okay. And then getting like handing it back to you, right? And then
Hmm.
I get if it's the second round, the last round. But then I tell people I literally go from the very first word and I
Hmm.
read my entire book edited
Yes.
to
Yes.
see is everything captured, and then
Hmm.
for those, like you said, may need a proofreader to get it proofread because there's
Right.
like little
Yeah.
things.
Little
It's like,
things.
oh, that wasn't,
Exactly. It
it's
could be an
okay, but
extra word. It
yeah,
could be a comma out of
yeah,
place. Typos are
yep,
common things that proofreading is going to catch and it's
yeah,
going to look at it. And one of the things I said, as an editor, a lot of times if I'm in there and I'm basically restructuring
yeah,
something,
mm-hmm,
um, some things are going to happen that I'm not even going to see.
yeah,
Proofing can catch that.
yes, yeah, totally get it.
Mhm.
And so you're saying we should get a proofreader
Yes.
after the final round, y'all. Final
Right.
round editing. We've done the back and forth dance.
Yep.
Okay. And I just, even if I get, I get a proofreader, I'm still going to read it through
Yep.
and then I'm going to give it to
Yes.
a proofreader
Yes.
and be like, okay, this is the last hurdle. Yeah.
Yes.
That's just,
And
that's the author I am. I'm not going to say, oh, she
yes.
edited. I'm just going to take it for as it is and then give it to a proofreader. I want to
Don't,
read
yes, don't do that.
everything. Yeah.
Do not do that. I
Yeah.
typically recommend you read. So my process is, for the author,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to read it from first page to last page
Mm,
before you hand it over to me,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I recommend, you probably remember, read it out loud to yourself,
Yeah.
because when you speak the words out loud, you hear things that maybe you didn't see when you wrote it.
Yeah. Mm,
And so you can catch a lot of things with your own first read. Read
yeah.
it through, and you read it at not as the author, but try as best you can to read it as your intended audience.
Yes.
How are they going to
Yeah.
receive it, right?
Mm,
That helps you catch some stuff. Then during the back and forth, as you said, as we're working through the process, you need to be reading everything that your editor has suggested, recommended, tweaked. You need to read it as the author, because you're the one who's going to decide if you're going to accept um, that that change or that recommendation or
yeah.
suggestion.
Yeah.
So you have to read it. And then once the final edit has been completed, you need to read it again.
Mhm.
right? First page to last page,
Yeah.
but you do want to give yourself some time in between there and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
overwhelm yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For sure. Because I'm like, okay, got it back. Breathe. Okay, now
Yes.
start. And I tell people, like, you're reading a regular book,
Hmm.
treat your book as, okay, I need to take a break. Okay, I can't
Yes.
read it from front to back tonight
Back.
or today.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I read
Exactly.
my part. I read what I could. I'll pick it back up tomorrow or a couple of days from now. So
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
very, very great. We have a few minutes left, and I
Okay.
wanted to just maybe start to address one thing, and we're gonna have to bring you back, Dawn. So,
Okay.
so the timetable, because you're talking about it
Hmm.
back and forth.
Yes.
There have been some, when I'm teaching some students that come to the class, participants say, "Oh, I've gotten contracts, but there's no timetable, in my contracts." So I was like, "All right." I told them that's a big no-no, but since you're
Yes.
here, let's
Yes.
ask the editor.
But
Like, yeah,
that is red flag number, we'll say red flag number one.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Any contract that you have, I mean, you,
Mm,
you get, and somebody is creating a deliverable for you, they're returning something to you.
yeah,
It should have a start and an end date.
yeah.
Now it can be arranged. So
Hmm.
my, and you can attest to this,
Hmm.
my contracts read at the typical or standard editing time frame is approximately 6 weeks.
Mm,
That may adjust based on me as an editor and my bandwidth, but
yeah,
she knows, and I will give a an end date for that. But there is, I forgot the term you use, but in the contract, I'll say we'll adjust it if we need to, right?
yes. Hmm. Yeah.
But that's a conversation between me and the author
Hmm.
to make any adjustments to the agreed upon time. But you should never have a contract that has an open-ended contract, because I promise you, you will never get it back.
Yeah,
The likelihood is that you'll never get it back. It'll never be finished,
yeah,
or it's going to be way beyond your plan.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So you need to have an end date on that contract. And I
Thank you.
will just go another step to say your contract should spell out exactly what is going to be done.
Mm,
All of the editing, what are the editing tasks
yeah,
that your editor is agreeing to complete?
yeah,
Um, so are they rewriting, paragraphs or chapters or pages? If they are, that's a different type of editing,
yeah,
right? They're going to charge you more.
yeah.
Is it just, like I said, a straight copy edit? They're looking for sentence structure, plot line, those simple things.
Hmm.
Um, you need to know. It needs to spell out everything they're doing. It spells out your back and forth process. It spells out your start date, and it has your rate in there.
Yep.
So
There we go.
every question you would have about paying should be there, and what
Yeah.
you're actually going to get in the end.
It should not
And
be a mystery
exactly.
at all.
And it should be signed off, dated
Yes.
and signed off the
Hmm.
agreement, just like any other
Yep.
contract.
Yep. Oh, wow. Dawn, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring you
Okay.
back for season 5, season 6. So, we'll just, keep
All right,
bringing
we'll
you
make it
back.
a
But
regular.
yeah, we'll make
Right.
it a
It's like,
regular, like, chat with the editor. But I really want to
oh,
thank you for just
welcome.
spending time with me and the audience. Again, there's other questions that I've captured. The proofreading's a big one. Even for me, I'm like, oh yeah. Um,
Hmm.
I need to add that into my workshop. Like, get it proofread because I have it in my mind. See, that's why we work because I'm like, it's
Yes.
here. It doesn't make it out onto paper.
Right.
But to proofread and to really take your time proofreading your
Yeah.
own work and getting someone to professionally proofread it.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I
definitely.
know people always say, "Oh, what's her social media handle? What's her website?" I was going to ask you, how can people find you? But I already know you're really like references and word of mouth.
Yes, all of my business comes from references and word of mouth. I
Okay.
don't have a web page out there. I do have a company that manages, and the company is me,
Okay.
but all of my editing. But I'm pretty selective. It's very important for me
Mm,
that the clients I take on, we match, we sync up
yeah.
for a good experience for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So they can reach me through my email, which is dawn at thetrainingground.us, and that is the training ground, two G's, .us.
Two G's, y'all.
And
Okay.
if you're looking for an editor, just say editing as your
There we go.
subject line, and we'll have a conversation.
All right, there you have it. Y'all heard from here how to reach her. So don't say, "Hey, Serena, how do I?" She said it. Okay, don't look for her on social media, a website, a blog. Okay, you got her email and reach out to her. I have loved working with you, Dawn. I'm looking forward to future projects and
Yes.
continuing the journey. And we will bring you back definitely for another segment of poetry, publishing, literary artistry. So thank you for your time. And
Welcome.
and
Thank you.
for
It's fun. It's
those,
been fun.
it has been. It's always we caught up before the interview. Like, okay, we have to catch up, and then we're gonna
Yes.
do our interview. Okay. But for those who want to find out more about me, I am Divine Wright across social media platforms as DivineWryte. That's my poet and spoken word stage name. Is also the name of my health and wellness coaching practice. I wear more than one hat. I'm a board certified health and wellness coach. So Divine Right Wellness is that's me as well. My website is serenawills.com, SerenaWills.com. I hope you took notes. If you need to go back, rewind, do the replay, and take some notes. And that is my time for today. Take good care, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. And bye for now.
Hi.